Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications because I'm sharing every week great contents for you. In this video, I'm going to start a new playlist and it is going to be an API project. We're going to create an API provider project from scratch. It is going to be a zero to hero project. But as I told you before, it is going to be a beginner level, so I'm not gonna use any architecture or I'm not gonna use any third-party library. You can consider this project. We are improving, we are honing our basic level skills. All right, let's create a project first. Then we can continue building our application. I'm waiting. I'm going to use what I done previously project in MVC project. I'm just most of thing I'm gonna copy and paste things because we already did and you already know what we done. So I'm just going to focus on the differences between MVC and API. Okay, let's click API, continue, next. Let's say YouTube ASP.NET Core API tutorial basic. Yeah, this is going to be alright. Let's select the location of project. Yep, select folder. Anything else should I change? Let me check. Let's continue. .NET 8. Everything seems alright. We are using .NET 8 by the way. Let's create application and let's start building our project. Perfect. Now I'm not gonna introduce the interface because we already did these things. If you very beginner of ASP.NET Core, I strongly recommend you go back my previous playlist, and if you completed the ASP.NET Core basics and beginner MVC tutorial, you are correct place. All right. First of all, let's have a look. We have a weather forecast. I'm gonna delete it, which we don't need it. Let's go controllers. Okay, I'm going to delete this controller as well. I don't need that controller. Anything else should I need? Okay, leave the rest as it is. Okay, let's close everything. Perfect. I'm just waiting everything. Okay, let's start creating our entities as always. Right click, add folder, entities, or should I say models? Let's say models, and we can keep our DTO in our models as well. Entities, okay, and we going to have our DTOs, which is data transfer object. This is basically we can say View models, but in this API projects we are using DTO instead of View models. Okay, I am going to create a basic account on the application, but it's going to be really basic things. I'm going to keep the clients and their invoices. That's going to be all. So I'm going to create a new folder here. First of all, sorry, not here. Okay, let's create clients DTO and invoices DTO. Okay, let's start entities. As you can see, everything's goes same with MVC. Okay, let's change the name. Client. All right. Prop integer ID. Prop string company name. Prop string owner. Prop string address. Prop, oops, sorry. Prop string, let's say ID, company name, owner, address, and we can say phone. And I would like to keep, should I keep? No, that's all. For the client, it will be okay. Let's create our invoice. Integer ID prop. So in an invoice, we're going to have client informations. Let's add these first. Integer client ID prop client. I'm now creating the relation between invoice and client section. All right, let's add date time, invoice date. Let's say invoice date, and let's say, so we have, I'm going to keep purchase order number, PO number. Anything else? Okay, let's continue the figures. Prop. I'm just thinking this is invoice, right? And we're going to have invoice items as well. All right. Okay. So we can have one. We're going to have one more entity, I assume. Okay. Let's say. Okay. Let's keep the VAT. Okay. Prop integer. Summary, or let's say total. Prop integer grand total. By the way, I'm gonna change those decimal. Okay, so we have VAT total, grand total, PO number, invoice date, and client with ID. So we also be going to need a invoice item. Yeah. Prop integer ID, prop string name, prop decimal sell price, just say price. Anything else should I add here? Price, quantity, anything else? Decimal, VAT, decimal, we need price, quantity, VAT. What we used here, by the way, why they are, let's fix those as well. Okay, VAT total, grand total. I'm going to copy all of these. Invoice item. Okay. Quantity, price, name, ID. Anything else should I edit? Let me have a look quickly. It seems everything okay in this section, I guess. Let's do the connection. So one client can have lots of invoices. So I'm going to add prop list invoices. Oops. Invoices. Yeah. Let's continue the invoice. So one invoice can have more than one invoice item. Let's fix this as well. Invoice items. Okay, perfect. I think the connection is complete. Is that okay? An invoice item has integer invoice number, invoice ID, alright. I assume now everything will be okay. Let's put these navigation properties just down below. Okay, perfect. We have one too many with invoice, and we have one too many to invoice item with, yeah, it is going to be okay, I think. Let's save everything. Our entities is completed. Let's move on. Let me have a look quickly. Okay, I'm going to create my context. Let's add new folder, context. Let's create another class, app DbContext. We're going to ef core DbContext. We need to install Entity Framework Core, latest version 8.0. It's all done. Now I'm going to create constructors, options, and empty one. Okay, let's save extra lines. Using this section, perfect. Let's add our tables using dbset. Do not forget add your publics. dbset client clients dbset invoices. All right. Let's say invoice item, invoice items. Perfect. Now let me have a look quickly. Entity is done, context is done. Let's create our configurations now. Okay, I'm going to create another folder here. Let's add configurations. But I'm gonna keep these folders in another file. Or let's leave it like this. Add class client config. As usual, I'm using identity type configuration client. Let's add our namespaces, implement interface. This is ready. Let's add invoice config. Let's use identity type configuration again. But do not forget change your variable if you're using Control C and Control V. Let's add the latest configuration file, invoice item config. Yep, invoice item implement in. Oh my god, I type wrong thing, I guess. Let's have a look. Models, invoice item, invoice item. I did something wrong somewhere else. Okay, so what it is? Let's implement the interface and see the error messages again. So what is telling us? Already invoice item. Did we create another invoice item wrongly? Okay, let's type here invoice item. Just have this here. Okay, invoice item, invoice, not here. While I was creating quickly, we made a mistake because client config, invoice item config, invoice item. I'm just checking all the files now. Client here, invoice here, invoice item. Okay, by the way, we took wrong property here. Let's take this one. What is the problem? Oh my god. I'm gonna delete this folder. I'm gonna create new one. Invoice item. Already exist. Yep, already exist here. Do we have another one? Oh yeah, invoice item client. Yeah, client name has been changed to invoice item. Okay, let's make it client again. Perfect. Save it. Let's save everything. Close all tabs. Save everything. Client, invoice, invoice item. Perfect. Get back invoice item. Configuration. All done. Let's build solution. Then we can see our errors. Okay, 1 success, 0 failed. Perfect. Let's continue our configurations. Let's start with the client. Okay, let's open our entity. So we have company name, owner, address, phone, and invoices. I'm going to let the EF core do the connection and relations for me automatically. So I'm just gonna give property configuration for company, owner, address, and phone. Okay, let's come here, builder property x dot. So we are in client config and invoice item. Weird lines. Perfect. All right, let's start with address is required, and we can add has max length, let's say 500, and so we have phone is required, has max length. I'm gonna make it 14. It's going to be more than enough. And we have owner ID address company name has a max length 50, will be more than enough. I think the owner I'm gonna use 60. 50 is will be okay. Okay, let's continue with the invoice and invoice config. Builder dot property. Okay, let's start from top to down. We have client ID. So do we supposed to have a client ID? Yep, client ID is required. Builder dot property. So we have grand total ID invoice date. Let's continue. Invoice date is required. Builder dot property. We have invoice items. We have PO number is not required and has max length. Let's make it 10. Builder property. Some companies are not using PO number, so I'm gonna make it optional instead of mandatory. Let's have a look. Invoice date, invoice total VAT. Okay, VAT. Actually, I'm going to make VAT and the other things calculated automatically. So I'm not gonna add anything because I'm not gonna add any number for VAT, total, and the other section. All I need to, I guess I'm gonna get those things from automatically the invoice items. Okay, let's leave it as it is just for now. Just I'm going to define their decimal, okay? So VAT has precision, yeah. So this is going to have 4,2. Anything else? Let's add those for total and grand total. Alright, let's continue invoice item. So we have name, price, quantity. Okay, it's gonna take a bit longer. Name, price, quantity. Builder, property, name is required. Has max length 50. Let's select after name, price quantity. price. I'm gonna use precision, precision 4,2, or I can make it, so let's make it 10. It can be huge numbers. Let's get back our client config, no, invoice config. I'm gonna change those precision to 10,2. Yeah. Let's get back invoice items. Price is done. The next one is, so I need to have a look. My entity, quantity, VAT, total, grand total. We have quantity, right? Quantity is required. Let's delete this. So we have next one is going to be invoice item, VAT total, grand total. Okay. I'm gonna copy from invoice. I just copy and paste. Perfect. I think everything is correct right now, but we need to give price, right? So it's okay. Quantity is required. VAT total grand total is going to be calculated automatically. Let's save everything. Close all tabs. I'm just thinking, is there any configuration left? I don't think so. So we completed configurations as well. The next one is generic repository section, but before that I'm gonna create the migration and finalize first lesson. Is there anything should I do? As you can see, until this section we did everything with the same with the MVC project, and after we complete whole repository section, it will continue to be same with MVC. I'm gonna tell you, hey guys, this is different from MVC. This section is belong to API. Okay. Sorry. Now let's let me check quickly. Yeah, we didn't create our services. Okay. Let's create our extension as well. Oops, not you, sorry. Okay, I just paused and resumed the video. I need to drink some water. Okay, let's continue. Extensions, add class, load, or let's say service extension. Static public static class service extension. Let's create our static iService collection. We did all of these things in MVC, guys. I'm trying to make it quicker, not to make you bored. Load service extensions. Okay, I'm gonna add the configuration as well. Yep. Control KD, return services. Not you. Alright. We need to add our connection string. I assume, first of all, I'm going to add our entity framework core, my DbContext. services at DbContext. Our context is app DbContext, and let's jump to the options. Use. Okay, all right. We need to add any package. All right, let's type here ef core SQL. Yeah, this is, I need to install, and I need to install tools and design as well to make migrations. I'm waiting. All right, let's. I just clicked install and it's still searching. It's extremely slow working. I hate that manage NuGet package. Yep. And let's delete and receive the other ones. Okay, I need tool. Yeah, install. I need design as well. I'm gonna take this as well. While it's loading, I'm gonna check. Do I need anything else for migrations? Probably it will. All right. So what is the problem? What happening? Just, just, just install, mate. Just install it. So what's your problem? All right, it's done. Perfect. Let's close everything. Okay, let's try to add our SQL, use SQL. If I remember, obviously, SQL, yeah, use SQL Server. Okay, in this section, I'm going to use my config and get connection string, and it is asking me a string name SQL connection. All right, to get our connection string now, I'm going to go app setting JSON and I'm going to create my connection string here. So the name is SQL connection. All right, let me have a look my previous project, copy and paste for connection string. I'm just checking right now. Give me a couple of seconds. Where's my app setting JSON? All right, I found it. Okay, you can copy and paste from my connection string, or you can find your own connection string from internet. So I'm gonna give previous projects MVC project tutorial. Now I'm gonna make it API project tutorial. All right, this app setting JSON is done. So what's the problem here? We forgot one bracket, I think. All must be completed. One more. Here we go. All right, connection string is completed. Now we need to add these extension to our program CS file using okay, YouTube ASP.NET Core API tutorial basic extensions. Here we go. This is our service extension. Now I'm going to add builder services, load service extension, and I'm going to give configuration, which is asking us a configuration, builder.configuration. It's all connected and ready to go. Okay, let me make a double check. Did I forget anything? Service extension, models, DTO, configurations. I think we are ready for migration. Let's save everything. Oops, sorry guys. Close everything. Let's open up package manager console. Perfect. Let's say add migration. We forgot to give a name, but it's asking you a name. Let's make it bigger for you. Okay, I'm gonna give initial. Let's continue. Now we're going to create our database, and alright, so what is the problem? Navigation, clients, blah blah blah. Manually configure relationship. Okay. EF Core couldn't understand the relation between our tables, and it is asking us to create your navigations manually. Now I'm going to check, did we do something wrong? And if it's not, I'm going to create manually. Okay, client. Okay, public list invoices. So we have one too many between client and invoice, right? I'm just checking. This is client ID, invoice. Alright, this is the problem. It must be the client. That's why it's confused. Maybe you see this section I did wrong, but I didn't realize. So it's fixed now. So we have one too many invoice with invoice item. Let's go invoice ID. Yep. This is the invoice. Perfect. Seems now everything okay. Close everything. All saved. Try to add one more time. Give name here now. Add migration initial. I think it's happening now. Perfect. Let's have a look quickly. Our migration, we have a client table. ID is integer. Yep, perfect. Company name, owner, address, phone, nullable. All of them cannot be null. Primary key, ID, perfect. Invoices, datum, and voucher. So why it is max? So I did. Okay, let's check our configuration. So PO number shouldn't be max. This is invoices, right? Okay, has max length is 10. So why do we have an varchar max here? Nullable false. I'm gonna check the PO number. But I finalize this. Just checking anything else. Primary key invoices. Perfect. Foreign key is client ID. Yep. Invoice item. Name. We have problem defining has max length because name has and varchar max as well. The other one, how about the other one? All of them is and varchar max. We have a problem. Okay, now I'm going to remove migration because I'm not gonna apply it. Let's delete it. We'll succeed. Alright, it's done. It's deleted. Okay, let's have a look quickly why we don't have this max length, why it's not working. Because we didn't get the configuration to our context. Okay, so we need to overwrite our model builder. So we add our configuration but we didn't apply it basically. Okay, overwrite. Always, I'm suggesting you always, if you do a migration, if it's even if it's small changes, check your migration file. It might be wrong. Now we catch the wrong, now we are fixing it. Overwrite on model creating. All we need to, guys, is that model builder or option builder. Let's have a look first. Model builder. Oops, not you. Model builder dot apply configurations from assembly, and I'm going to use current assembly. I'm going to use reflection here, the basic one. This is frustrating. Control dot using system reflection. Yeah, here we go. Get executing assembly. Perfect. Now it is going to recognize what we done here. Add migration initial, and let's check what we have in our hands right now. Okay, this is migration file. Company name 50, 50, 500. Perfect. All changes has been applied. Okay, let's update database. It's going to be update. Yep, perfect. Let's close the file, save everything, close all of things, minimize everything. Now I'm going to check my SQL. I'm going to check my tables. If it's everything correct, I'm gonna finish this lesson here, and next lesson we're going to build our generic repositories, and then we move on little bit API stuffs. Okay, let's connect database API project tutorial tables. All right, we have client, invoice, item, and invoice. Let's have a look at our diagram and let's see the connections. Let's close it. Perfect. So we have client. So one client can have many invoices, and one invoice can have many invoice items. So the relation seems is correct. Perfect. Also, you can do right click on your tables and click design. You can see the specifications of your properties. Okay, now I'm going to close it. No. Perfect. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video. I know I didn't do anything related to API, but these are preparation lessons, and hopefully the second lesson I think we can start small things related to API, and we're going to smash this subject, smash this lesson hopefully very quickly, and you will be able to create your API project on your own. Alright guys, do not forget to turn on notifications and crush the like button. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Bye bye.